welcome to this amazing From Concept to Creation YouTube mini-series. I'm Dr. Kimberly Ellison, and I want us to go ahead and get started. My goal is to make sure that you have an amazing mini-series that's going to help you turn your content and take your concept and turn it into a purposeful and profitable program. So how did From Concept to Creation for creatives get started? It was about 2 to 3 years ago, and I started a program where creatives like yourself could come in, and this 2-day incubator, and it was designed to where you would bring in all of your journals, all of your notes, and those different types of things. Some people wanted to do prayer journals. Some people wanted to do VIP days. They wanted to work on content that they had, but they did not know how to properly or effectively put it together to come up with an excellent and a quality product that would generate purpose as well as profit for their business. A lot of speakers, those authors, even creatives such as writers or consultants and coaches, they were also saying, I have content, I have a concept, something that I want to put together and make it tangible. And people can walk away with training programs, and they can also walk away with coaching programs, retreats. And so I want you to just think about the concepts that you have and walk through this journey with me on helping you to turn it into purposeful and profitable outcomes for yourself. So let's rock and roll with this mini series. It will be a short series because there's a lot of content that goes into developing your concept and truly fleshing it out. I'm going to take this from an academic perspective as it relates to allowing you to take your concepts and turning it into something practical, taking practical strategies and solutions, and how you're going to turn that into an amazing product that your audience will know and want and love, okay? So some of you are saying, well, Dr. Kimberly, I don't know if this is the best program for me or if this mini series is going to be valuable to me. Well, you're in the right place if you are ready to create killer content that's going to take your audience to the next level, and you're going to challenge them with the information that you have, or you're going to educate them and you want to not increase their knowledge, but you want to do it in a way that that content you produce is going to be stellar and it's going to be killer the first time. It's like hitting the bullseye. And so I want to take you and let you know that you're in the right place. You're in the right place if you're ready to create valuable content. This is actually content from one of my clients as it relates to taking her content and her concept of, I want to produce a journal, but I want it to also be an amazing piece of a body of work. And we were able to not only create a journal, but a book. And how do you take that to where this tool was not only something that individuals could write in, but they could actually take this curriculum without having my client there to teach that curriculum. And so we had come up with this amazing and valuable product for this journal, but also curriculum. And then you are in the right place if you're ready to create profitable content. When I tell you that I've had clients from CEOs to startups to take this project or this concept and turn it into a workable solution, I work with this particular client on an international platform where we actually took the concept of this particular retreat or this mastermind for women business owners. And we were able to identify what type of content needed to be produced in order to have the learning that's going to be transferable and sustainable, not just for women in the US, but women internationally. So we had to ensure that the content was able to speak to the different languages, the different cultures that we were going to encounter in Portugal. And so we were able to create collateral, content collateral for the program, for the brand, also for presentations for the particular speakers. And we were able to turn this into a profitable program, but also it had an amazing turnout for the women who were traveling internationally. So I want to help you know that you're in the right place. For those of you who are still saying, well, I don't really want to create a journal, but I do have all this content, I do have a concept, you're in the right place if you need to learn to organize your content, because oftentimes people will have a lot of things everywhere. And so in this mini series, I want you to understand that my goal is to help take all of these things that you have and to organize that content so that you can make sure that you have something that your actual audience will be able to flow freely through, even if you're there or not. They can pick up whatever it is. If they're in your mastermind, that you have products or services that you want to provide, if you want to develop your VIP day, and you have this concept and you have it in your mind and you see people are doing it all over the world. However, you're saying, well, what do I need to do to get started, and how is it that I can organize my content? So you're in the right place. For those of you who want to create sustainable programs, maybe you have published a book, maybe you have had a VIP day or retreat or a conference. You may have even started a certified certificate program or certified individuals through a program, but you did it one time and maybe twice and it wasn't as effective. Well, how do you take that and create a sustainable program? When I think about success of your content and then what it is that you're going to turn it into, I think about not just the one-time rollout. How do I then help you develop programs or masterminds, VIP days, or even books, content, collateral that you can produce that's going to be sustainable over a period of time? And then finally, you're in the right place if you just want to produce results. I often tell people I'm a results-oriented individual, because when you think about goals, goals change, but the outcome is what you're looking for on a regular basis. So I want you to know in this mini series that you're in the right place if you're ready to produce results. And it doesn't matter at what level you enter this course in, because from those who are entry level to those who are experts, you always need to find a place to where you can kind of customize and create in a way, and creates a space for you to really get your thoughts together and then reorganize so you can produce at the next level in your content. So a little bit about myself and who I am is, I always say, create content that creates value. It's not about creating content that is not just out there to make money or out there to get people to see that you're doing these amazing things or to show your design. When you create content, you want to create content that's valuable. You want to take a concept, and your concept should always solve a problem. It should look for a problem to solve. The bigger the problem, the bigger the outcome, and the bigger the profit. And so you want to make sure that you create content that is valuable. And so a little bit about me is I wrote 3 books in 9 months. And the reason I was able to do that is because I had content everywhere. So I had things written on journals. I had things written in notebooks, and I had things written all over the place. And I was still able to produce 3 books in 9 months because I followed this methodology of creating your content using your content that you already have. And so you have a concept that you want, but when you look at your content, sometimes you have enough and sometimes you have too little, and we have to go back to how do you then develop that content. I'm a 6-time author, and it's not because I'm just amazing and I love to, write. It's because I always write. It's just a part of who I am. Your notes, your posts on your internet, on your Instagram, or on your social media, all of those things are content. When you think about that, you can actually compile it and customize it in a way, and you can produce written work. And so I want you to know that. I also was able to take a team of women on tour to 7 states, 11 cities, 3 countries with no corporate sponsor. But what does it have to do with content? You have to be able to take content and share it amongst other creatives and amongst other visionaries, that they're able to take a look at the content and they're able to produce at the next level. So I had to design the content for all of these countries and all of these cities, and I was able to do that just from a concept of taking women globally and helping them to produce at a different place in their personal, professional, and spiritual areas of their life. I also started my nonprofit, which I've had for almost 10 years. This may be the 11th year, with $50 in a vision. It was a concept that I had to turn into a true place of purpose, and also take a look at how can I turn what's conceptually in my mind and utilize that in content. Content is taking that thing and turning it into something tangible. So I had to take my concept and put it into paper form in order to produce the overall 501c3, where you actually get the outcome. I'm an award-winning business owner for DKED, which is my professional development and training consultancy firm. And I won this actual award with the Fort Worth Business Press for Top 40 Under 40. I'm no longer under 40, but it was a few years ago. However, it was because I was able to produce training and content for businesses, small business owners, as well as corporate companies. And that was in the form of speaking engagements, panel discussions, but also going and doing training for these organizations and customizing it. And then I was able to be awarded because someone recognized the value that I was adding within that city and what my business was doing as a small business at the time. And so I'm excited about being an award-winning business owner because I actually was able to produce content that helped other people be more profitable and purposeful in the work that they do. It took 7 years to complete my doctorate degree, and I always say this is not something I brag about, but this is something that I share because when you're talking about content, listen, you can take your dissertation and pull out several books and several workshops and several VIP days because of the rigor and the research, and so that is content in itself. But it took forever as it relates to my concept was to get in and get out. However, I was able to continue and remain disciplined so that I could take what I learned in the research and produce profitable content as it relates and purposeful as it relates to my dissertation studies. I've also created 6+ revenue streams, and all of those require content development. As a small business owner, I also have a publishing company. I also work into the training, development, consulting, coaching space. And in that, I'm always creating content, not just for myself, but as you've seen previously, for clients. And then one thing I'm super excited about is I published my first anthology through my publishing company, which is sparklepublishing.com. I was able to produce 10 new authors and women authors who actually took this journey with me in writing this anthology and producing that content. And when I tell you, it has been purposeful and profitable. It's enough about me, but I wanted to let you know who you're working with as it relates to taking you through this particular program for content. So let's get started. When you think about a concept is pretty much abstract. It's an idea. Sometimes people think it's thoughts. It's those things that come to mind, and it could be from your experience. It could be from your imagination. And those of you who are visionaries, or some people call themselves the concept king or the concept queen, but it is in a generic, basic form of just ideas. And you want to be able to know that your concepts have value. But how do you then take a particular set of instances or occurrences that you've had and then take them and bring them into full manifestation? And so in that, you want to talk about how do you take your concept and put it in a creative form. And when you talk about creation, it's the act of making or producing something that did not exist before. Now, there's a difference between when you're talking about being innovative. See, when you create something, that means you've established it from the very beginning. And because it's your concept and it's your particular idea or your particular experience, you're able to make it creative. And so it's the act of taking your concept and manifesting that. And so it's something that's new, it's made or produced, and you're going to be the creator of that. And so that's why from concept to creation for creatives is signature for those individuals like yourself. Because your concepts create so much value. Everything begins with a thought. Everything begins with an idea. There's nothing under the sun that did not begin from a concept. And I want you to know that every concept that you have, begin to write it down, begin to put it in your phone, take notes around it, because I assure you that there's an act of producing, which is creation, that you can take that concept and produce it. And so with that, I call that content. And many of you may say, well, what is content? That's so, academic, or that's so structured, or so hardcore. I just really want to just write. Well, when you think about it, content is any information written, cognitive, that can be used to create or enhance someone else's knowledge, their skill, or ability, or their life. And so that is why, as a creative, it's important that you understand how valuable your concept is, so that you know that everything that you think is content. Knowledge capital, everything that you write is content. And I want you to begin to think as a creative. So whenever you're writing a post, whenever you're writing in your journal, if you're taking notes, if you sleep and you wake up and you get a concept, I want you to write that down, because now you're turning that cognitive concept that is content, and you're making it in written form. And so anything that you can produce that's going to enhance someone's knowledge, their skill, ability, or their life, that is what you want to produce. And so you're taking it and you're making it into a usable format so that they can learn, grow, and develop. And so when you think about that, the information is not if it's important to you as much it is deemed valuable to your content user. And so if you take a look on the screen here, you'll see how all of these notes and the different formats that you can actually capture your actual concept and turn it into a workable solution for content. And this is how creatives think. Some of you work through Microsoft Word, some of you have notes, some of you have your phone, some of you have just old school notepads and sticky notes that you like to keep around. And when you do that, you are actually producing content that's going to help change someone's life. I am so passionate about taking the work that you have or the ideas or the experiences and turning them into programs and profits that you can make, and people see it as valuable. And it's not always about how much it's important to you, rather how much more is it important to the people that you're going to actually introduce this content to. And so I hope you have a great idea in this mini series around what content is. So we've talked about the concept, the creativity, and now the content. How do you then turn that content into purposeful and profitable? Well, the purposeful part is it valuable to your audience, and what is it that they're looking to gain from your particular content? And is it profitable? And profit meaning it could be financial gain, but you can also profit in terms of social media followers. You can profit in terms of those individuals who are on your email list. You can profit in terms of relationship and building that relationship capital, because relationship is currency. And as you build out content and as you reach a particular audience, you are actually making things more meaningful, more purposeful, and profitable. And so I want you to expand your mind beyond the profit of just money. Money is currency. It is something that gives you access into places that you may never go or experience, but I also want you, or experience otherwise unless you had money. But there's also things that you can profit from content that you may never know. Think about it, being in a magazine, being in print, being awarded for content, utilizing your blogs. There are ways that you actually can be more profitable in creating content than just money. And so I want you to be broader in your thinking and your scope on how is it that you're going to create this content and help change someone's life, their knowledge, their ability, or their skill. For this mini series and what I've taught in my class, where it's 2 days, and this is where we take this content, and in this, you're actually, those individuals who take this particular course are certified content creators, and they get a certificate of completion, but also certified in designing and developing their concept into some workable content. And I take you through this particular process of content discovery, content design, content development, then an implementation strategy for your content, as well as content execution. And so for this particular mini series, we are going to talk about the content discovery. So in this mini series, when you think about the discovery of your content, whenever you think about discovering something, that means it wasn't there before. You have to take a journey and actually go through your journals, go through your particular phone notes, go through the things that you already have. And even if it's things you have in your mind and you haven't yet written down, remember, content is not just written, it's also cognitive. So it's those things that are in your mind and the things that you process on a daily basis that you may never get to write down. And so I want you to think in terms of discovering your content. Learn to fall in love and learn to get involved and read your content and see how it can impact others that you want to serve. And so what does that look like from a content discovery perspective? I take my course participants and those creatives through this discovery process, and we spend a lot of time within the actual session because it is an incubator. And in that incubator, we really get to look at, these particular set of questions that I consider helping you to discover. This is your, so to speak, your map of discovery as it relates to turning that concept into content. And so let's walk through these in this mini series. I hope you have your pen and notebook out and your paper out, because this is where you will learn about discovery and the process of discovery, and how you cannot just automatically assume people want your content. It is valuable. It is going to be a workable solution and an actual product. However, I want you to know that in discovering that content, you're going to have to go through a process. So what are you looking to create with your content? And you have to identify that, because some people want to take the easiest route, and they always say, well, I just want to create a journal, and they want just lines and some questions. That's okay, and you can do that. But what I caution you, as you discover your content, people can take a journal all day long with just lines and questions, but if it's not valuable, you will not have an effective outcome where your audience will want more, where your people that you serve and the mission that you're trying to accomplish would be complete. You are going to struggle, even though you've actually just finished something. You want to make sure that you know exactly what it is that you want to send out into the earth. So what does that look like? Are you looking to create a journal? And how are you looking to create a book? Are you looking to create a course? There are so many courses that you can create with content that you already have. And it's not always about standing in front of a room. You could do content just as I'm doing it now and do an online or a digital course. You can take a look at content. Do you want to take content and turn it into, this is content. When you think about these strategy cards and strategy cards, it's content, because now it is written, it is produced, it's profitable, and it's purposeful. So what content are you looking to create? What are you looking to create from this particular concept that you have and all this written work and cognitive things that you have? Think about that. And I want you to write that down, because in this actual incubator, we have a full 40-page workbook that serves as your content and content to creation, or concept to creation, so to speak, Bible. And this is where you keep it. And once you actually go through this certified program and this certificate program, once you do and create using this methodology, you will always be able to create, whether it's your VIP day, your retreats, your masterminds, your incubators, global concepts, online courses, online conferences. No matter what that looks like, you will be able to utilize this same methodology. So the first question is, what are you looking to create with your content? What type of content are you providing? And when you think about the type of content, is it learning-based, knowledge-based? Because learning, meaning they may already know it, they're just learning this continuous learning to grow, professional development. But knowledge-based would be more so you're introducing something new to a different audience. So you have to think about, what type of content are you providing? Is it going to be something that's a solutions-based? Is it self-help type content? Is it digital content? Is it written content? What audio? Will it be visual? So what type of content are you actually looking to provide? You want to write these things down. And people say, why are you doing this mini series for free? Well, the course in itself is an actual certified program. So you actually walk away with what your actual outcome looks like. And I have clients who continue to work with me once they see the value of this content to creation or concept to creation course. They are really starting to have confidence in what they have. And this brings more structure to what you have in your mind, and it helps you to produce at another level. And most of the people who took this course, 90% of the women were business owners, CEOs of corporations, or nonprofit leaders, are pastors. And so you want to think about, what does that look like for individuals who, a lot of them worked in women empowerment, or even we had someone who was licensed counseling, and they wanted to do retreats for women for self-care. And so it goes deeper, but you need to understand, what type of content are you providing? The third one here is, what problem does your content solve? Here is the deal, ladies and gentlemen, your content has to solve a problem. No matter what, the bigger the problem, the bigger the need and the demand for what you have. And when you think about it, what is it that you're looking to solve and impact? What are people going to do with the content that you produce? How are they going to learn something? Is it going to increase their ability to think in a certain way or perform in a certain way? Or is it going to increase their skill, their knowledge? How is it that you're going to 10x or increase their ability to produce at another level? There are books that I've read. There are audios that I listen to, podcasts that I've listened to. There are things that I've come across on social media, the content that has changed and shaped the way I do business. It shaped the way I live my life. So when you think about that, what problem does your content solve? And I want you to think in terms of when you're talking about things that you Google, you're looking for an answer. And the content that shows up under there is typically designed to help solve a problem. What does your audience already know? You want to make sure, question number 4 is, think about what does your audience already know? Because if you are giving them continued knowledge, you want to make sure that you produce that in the writing or the delivery of your content. If you are adding to the body of knowledge that they already know. So you want to know, what problem do they have? What problem is it solving? And then what does your audience already know? Typically the general things that they know. And is this going to be the next thing, new or existing knowledge? So are you providing new knowledge, or are you building upon already known knowledge? These things are critical as it relates to discovering your content, because it helps alleviate some of the fear, the anxieties. It helps you to find your space, your fit. In a world that looks like saturation, or a market that looks saturated, if you go through discovering your content, or this process of discovering who you are to the people you serve and what you bring to them and how you want to help solve their problems, and go through this, you'll be able to understand where you fit better, how to market properly, how to design properly, and how to produce it in a way that's sustainable. So I want you to understand that if you go through this process, it doesn't have to be earth-shattering, groundbreaking, or new territory. What it does have to be is creative, and it does have to be your concept. So there are so many life coaches out there. There are so many counselors and consultants, and there are so many preachers and pastors and, intercessors. There's so many trainers and people doing all of the same things that seem to have a same outcome. But here's the deal with your content. When you go out and do the research on what is it that you're trying to solve and what your audience already knows, you find something, and people call it a niche or a niche. You want to make sure it's not necessarily a niche or a niche. It's just making sure that the content you provide is solving your problem and it's adding to or building upon or something brand new. You got to find your space. And if you want to write a journal, there's 50,000 journals out there. What is it that you are bringing to your audience and the type of content that you want to provide that journal format in? And are you going to take journaling to the next level? What about a journal that people journal in, and then not only do they journal their thoughts, but they take it to the next level and they begin to create from their journal, or solve an issue, or heal from their journal entry. And they're able to, how is it that you can impact your audience in a greater way, where you create a healing journal, where they put in not just their thoughts and scripture and read in text, but they also talk about their outcomes, their true journey? What about a journey journal so I'm just sharing with you content that could be taken to a whole different level. And even in retreats and things of that nature, virtual retreats. People haven't gone on virtual retreats. These are things that have not yet been done. And I want you to think about ways in which you can take the content. I want you to think strictly of content right now, not the actual construct of what it is. I want you to think about discovering some things about what's in you, what concepts you have, and how is it that you're going to deliver this to your audience. The last question here, and for this mini series, I want you to think about, how knowledgeable are you about your content? This is mission critical. You want to make sure that you have the knowledge, and it's not necessarily the expertise. So there's a difference between an expert and someone who's knowledgeable. If you have a level of expertise, then you have the knowledge and you know how to apply it and you know how to teach it. Okay. And people come to you because you are the foremost expert in this field, in this industry, or this particular thing. When you are knowledgeable, that means you have read, you have researched, you have been in environments, you have applied it, and you may not yet be the expert from a academic perspective or a certified perspective, but you have knowledge equity built up that you utilize, and you can now become the expert. Expert doesn't mean you don't have room to grow. Expert means you spent some time and you have some experience and you turn that knowledge into an expertise. So you focus in on it and you now have something to share with the world. I don't want you to get afraid of being knowledgeable and calling yourself an expert. I want you to challenge yourself to learn more, to read more, to study more. Ideas begin to generate, concepts begin to come to fruition when you fill your mind with the thing that you're focusing on and the things you're passionate about. Concepts come when you spend a little bit more time with reading and studying, and you'll be walking and you'll get this concept that only comes to you. And so I want you to spend some time being more knowledgeable about the area of content that you're going to produce. And so hopefully this mini-series gets your wheels to spinning and it challenges you. I produce content that challenges you, that challenges your knowledge, it challenges your perspective, it actually helps you change the way you see things. I don't want clients who just want to throw something out there for the sake of looking cute. I want clients who offer content that their audience know, love, desire, want, and think about when they're driving in their car, and they think about it when they're cooking, and they're thinking about it when they're watching television. It pops up like, wow, I really enjoyed the value that that program or that VIP day or my life has changed. I've had so many women and men share, you know, how programs have changed their life, how books and content and journals, and it may be different for other people that you serve. It may be be impactful for one person and not as impactful for the other. However, if you are serving valuable content to your audience, they will see it and they will love it and they will desire it and they will grow from it. So I encourage you to take a look at this set of questions as you have been able to take part in this mini series with Dr. Kimberly Ellison. It's a YouTube mini series for my program, From Concept to Creation for Creatives. I'm so excited and I'm thankful that I had an opportunity to share on this type of platform where you can take some of the information now and take your concepts and begin looking and discovering your content. I hope this has been helpful to you. Matter of fact, I know it has been helpful. Every single time that I have an opportunity to share my level of expertise in the content that I have, I grow because I know that it's helping you grow. I go out and I find ways to expand my knowledge and expand my expertise and skill so that I can come back and help creatives like yourself tap into a different place of potential for what you've been given to place out into the earth. Thank you so much. You will be taking this journey with me since you subscribe to the Dr. Kimberly Ellison's YouTube channel. And again, tomorrow's content will be content design. So I want you to take tonight or whenever you listen to this recording, think about the discovery aspect of it before we get to design. So I want you to answer those questions. I want you to write them down, and I want you to think about what type of content you bring to the earth. Alrighty, I'm so excited. I look forward to our mini series tomorrow of content design with Dr. Kimberly Ellison From Concept to Creation for Creatives. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Dr. Kimberly Ellison, and you can also check me out on Twitter at Dr. K Ellison, and on LinkedIn, I'm Kimberly Ellison, PhD, or you can check me out with DK Professional Development and Training. Again, it has been a joy. It has been my heart to share with you, and I'm so excited about this amazing mini series, and I look to see you again in the course room tomorrow right here on my YouTube channel.